Reading difficulties are the most common learning difficulty as they make up 80% of all students that identify with a learning difficulty. These students experience unexpected and persistent problems with one or more of the 6 key instructional areas of reading: phonemic awareness, phonics, comprehension, vocabulary, fluency, and decoding. Reading difficulties can be the result of a range of reasons, including factors such as sensory impairment, severe behavioural, psychological or emotional issues, English as an additional language or dialect, high absenteeism, inadequate teaching, and/or inadequate access to the curriculum and resources. If left unidentified, 74% of students with a reading difficulty at the age of 9 will continue through high school reading below the average reading grade. Early intervention is vital to the success of students with a reading difficulty. Students failing to read successfully in the early years will develop frustration, loss of confidence, and unwillingness to take risks, and it will lead to the development of learned helplessness. Whilst in the classroom, early years teachers can identify students with a possible reading difficulty by observing signs such as delayed speech and language development, limited spoken vocabulary, poor understanding of letter-sound relationships, difficulty with letter knowledge, slow and inaccurate word decoding, poor spelling, inability to read nonsense words, difficulty understanding reading materials, and difficulties with tasks that require practical working memory capacity such as following instructions or remembering sequences. As well as these observations, there are a number of assessments that you can perform with the students, such as PAT-R to test reading comprehension, running records, sight word tests, and phonics tests. The response to intervention, or RTI model, is a multi-tier approach to early identification and support of students with learning difficulties. Tier 1 involves high-quality, explicit teaching to the whole class to promote mastery of skills. Students who have been identified as struggling with the mastery of certain skills are then moved to Tier 2. Tier 2 provides students with additional support to allow them the opportunity to catch up to the rest of the class. This tier focuses on specific problem areas that the students are struggling with, and if the students reach the mastery, they'll be moved back down to Tier 1. However, if there is no response to the intervention, the student will be moved to Tier 3 of the RTI model, which focuses on daily and intense intervention, usually with the support of and consultation with specialists. Tier 3 aims to reduce the gap between at-risk students and their peers to facilitate a greater access to Tier 1 and Tier 2. So what does successful intervention look like? It is important that the intervention program content is taught clearly and directly, not in an embedded or implicit way. That it is multisensory, it builds on what has already been taught, it is sequenced and repetitive. A successful intervention program is also taught at the appropriate pace for the students, where each component is taught on its own, with plenty of time for practice. The program must also cover the 6 instructional areas of reading: phonemic awareness, phonics, comprehension, vocabulary, fluency, and decoding, and have regular ongoing assessments of concepts taught. As teachers, it is our legal obligation to ensure that all students are included in the classroom. It is stated in the Melbourne Declaration on Educational Goals for Young Australians that the Australian Government, in collaboration with all school sectors, commit to promoting equity and excellence in Australian schooling by providing all students with access to high-quality schooling that is free from discrimination. The Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority, ACARA, also states that all students are entitled to rigorous, relevant and engaging learning programs drawn from a challenging curriculum that address their individual learning needs. So how can we do this? We can make accommodations in our classroom to ensure all students with a reading difficulty are accessing the curriculum, such as allowing extra time for reading, avoiding reading aloud, involving other modes of text in the classroom, encouraging assistive technologies such as text-to-speech applications, and allowing extra time for assessment to read questions to students. As well as these accommodations, we need to use evidence-based strategies in our classrooms, such as repeated reading to improve fluency, where students are to read a passage multiple times, develop phonemic awareness and decoding skills through games, activities, and hands-on exercises, improve sight word vocabulary through the use of flashcards and word studies, improving comprehension through discussing what is read, asking and answering questions, predicting, reflecting, criticising and summarising, and also guided reading sessions, and implementing a synthetic phonics program in the classroom, as explicit attention to alphabetic coding skills in early reading instruction is helpful for all students, harmful for none, and crucial for some. There has been a lot of debate around the whole language approach to reading versus the synthetic phonics program. In 2008, 24 6 and 7-year-olds were divided into an intervention or a control group. The students in the intervention group undertook 24 weeks of a structured program focusing on phonemic awareness and alphabetic coding skills, whilst the control group continued with the whole language approach to reading the program. The study shows that the intervention group significantly outperformed the control group in areas of phonemic awareness, nonsense word decoding, and word recognition. The average reading age of the intervention group was 9 to 14 months ahead of the control group, and all the students in the intervention group were now within the normal reading level for their age. If this is the case, why are we not implementing synthetic phonics in programs in all of our classrooms?